get into our first major conversation for today. This was just by the way, even though it's taking a bit of our time. But we're going to talk about the limited voter registration. And of course, the EC still going ahead with it, even though there were some injunctions that had been placed on it. It's day 3, and we want to get some updates. And so shortly, we'll cross over to the northern region. Our correspondent Chris will give us some updates on that. But the NDC is not too happy. Of course, aside the fact that some of the machines were faulty at some of the centers, they think that, and they're alleging that the EC deliberately took these faulty machines to their strongholds, which is why, some challenges are being faced at the moment. Because they say that if you look at the number of challenges that are being faced across the various districts, you cannot even count 2 of them or more that belong to the strongholds of the NPP, unlike the NDC. I'll go to Aisha to speak on this first of all. Do you think, or based on what your boss is saying as well, do you think that there's a deliberate attempt to sort of limit maybe people who also tilt more towards the NDC to get their voters registers card?
Bella, this whole issue of continuous voters registration, limited voters registration didn't start from here. To begin with, yes, I believe there is an agenda to suppress votes. Look, and I am not surprised, and I don't think all Ghanaians who have followed how this government operates are surprised. We all saw how, Charlotte say, the former EC was ousted out of office. It was a roadmap to pursue this agenda we are seeing today.
Based on your deduction?
Based on my deduction and every discerning Ghanaian. Charlotte say was ousted. Then came in Jemensa. Now, we have decided to boycott IPAC. Because the NDC, we don't see the need. We don't see the need for going to the IPAC meetings, deliberate on issues, and the EC now will come out and do what she likes, what they like. You see, the IPAC meeting was set up for parties to come together, deliberate on electoral issues, then come to a consensus as to the way forward. That would inure to everybody's benefit. That would be satisfactory for every political party. It's the reason for the formation of the IPAC. So the PNC, the CPP, the LPG, the GPCC, they have gone for their IPAC meeting. The EC boss says, I want to use the 250 district offices for the limited registration. The party says no. Using the 250 district will not be convenient for us. So use the 1,500 polling stations you used previously. Electoral centers previously. Then it will be convenient for all of us. They met the 2 deputies, Srebo Kweku and Bosman Asari. They said, yes, we've heard you. We are going to sit down and think about this. We'll get back to you on the issue. They wake up the following morning, and the EC boss, who wasn't part of the meeting, has gone ahead to announce a date for the limited registration without addressing their issue. What then is the essence of the IPAC meeting? If they have to go talk, come to a common grounds, then the EC will tilt away from whatever decision they've taken and take her own decision. What then is the essence of the IPAC meeting? So, fast forward, Monday, this registration has begun. And we are hearing a whole lot of complaints. The same complaints those political parties raised are here facing us. The distance between communities and the district offices within the same constituency. Imagine somebody moving from Mpakadan to Atimpoku. Yesterday, I was listening to one of your sister stations, and the complaint from Pru East is that they had to spend about 100 Ghana cedis to move from Domiabra to the district office. And mind you, this person is going with 2 guarantors. She alone is spending 100 cedis. The 2 guarantors are going to spend 100 cedis each, making 300 Ghana cedis. Who is going to foot that cost? How are they going to foot that cost? Is that not a way of disenfranchising the eligible Ghanaian? The Ghanaian who is qualified to vote at 18. Is that not a way of trying to suppress votes? Because if I don't get the money to move from Domiabra to Atimpoku to register, it means I've been disenfranchised. And the constitution is clear on this, that the polling centers or the electoral centers should be made accessible. Is it accessible to whoever wants to go and register? Is it accessible? Have we thought of even the disabled? How is the disabled going to get there?
And they have released a statement on this.
There are some communities that people have to cross river. They cross rivers to be able to get to the district centers. The risk involved. Have we thought of all that? And the funny thing about this whole issue is that in 2020, we had a limited registration. We used 1,500 polling centers or electoral centers for the limited registration. 2021, we couldn't do limited registration. 2022, we couldn't do. Now, 2023, that means we have a backlog of 2 years in addition to the 2023 people who have turned 18 in 2023. And now that the people are more, you have decided to reduce the polling centers or electoral centers from 1,500 to only 250 district officers. Madam J. Mensah, what are you up to?
Okay.
We have a cause to believe that you are up to no good. And the youth of Ghanaian, the youth of Ghana, the people of Ghana are going to teach the MPP, that Madam J. Mensah is trying to do everything possible to make sure all this registration and electoral process go in their favor. They will teach them a lesson, because you can't frustrate them this much and expect them to go to the polls and vote for you.
What lesson are you thinking they'll teach them?
They will teach them a lesson by voting for them. Aside from the fact that this economy is whipping them so hard, they are going to teach them a double lesson by telling them that you can't frustrate us on top of the economic mess you have created.
Okay. Well, there are a number of parties that came together to file that injunction against the EC. So it wasn't just the NDC, the CPP, the APC, All People's Congress, Liberal Party of Ghana, LPG, and Great Consolidated People's Party. At least we have the General Secretary for the CPP here. We'll let her speak on why there was a need for the party to also append its signature to this injunction. But let's quickly cross over to the northern region. Our correspondent, Chris, is going to update us on the numbers. You spoke 2 days ago, Chris. Good morning, by the way.
Good morning, Bella.
Thank you so much for joining us. You spoke about 2 days ago, giving us an update on the numbers at the various voting, the district offices and people who had come in to register for their voters' ID cards. The numbers were not too encouraging. Maybe you can run through those numbers again and give us an update on yesterday and whether things had improved as of yesterday.
Yes, so, Bella, the numbers hasn't improved anyway, because if you look at day one of the exercise, which was on the 12th, Monday, when the exercise began, some registration centers, for instance, the Sagnargu registration center, which 2 constituencies are registering in that center, that is the Tamale North constituency and the Sagnargu constituency. Only 32 successful applicants went through the process, and even that, it was the offline process because of network challenge. They were unable to register them online. So the whole process that day was frustrating. You go to the Tamale Metro registration center, where Tamale Central and Tamale South are supposed to be registered. Tamale Central, for instance, only 3 people went through the registration process successfully on day one. And for Tamale South, only 9 went through the process, which, according to the applicants and other party agents who were there. It's very frustrating. Day 2 of the exercise also did not go well because even though the network situation had improved a bit, but the system was slow, so they were unable to register the expected number of people. In fact, no registration center has been able to register 100 applicants yet here in the Tamale enclave. Now, because of that, even the applicants are not having that motivation to come to the registration center. So it becomes something of the political parties to go and force, in a way, these young ones to come to the registration center to be part of the exercise. So generally, from start of the exercise till today, it has been frustrating. Yesterday, for instance, it was almost midday, like some 8 minutes to midday before Tamale Metro could start the registration process. So, Bella, generally, the process has been frustrating, and the applicants are losing that motivation to go and acquire their voters' ID card.
For Tamale Metro yesterday, what was the reason for the delay in starting?
Okay, so it's generally about the network and the faulty machines. In fact, they have only 2 machines. And if you come to the 4 constituencies in the Tamale enclave, each of them is expecting to register over 10,000 applicants. So if they were able to register, for instance, 16 and 3, then it means that with a 21-day grace period, they cannot register even up to 1,000. And so it is a matter of concern to the political parties and the applicants who come there. In fact, the EC machines, as we speak, it didn't even function at all. And day 2, it started functioning, but it was very slow. But for Tamale Metro, it did not even function until almost midday when it started, and they registered a few, then it broke down again. So, Bella, it's very frustrating here at the registration centers. But before you brought me on, one of your panelists was talking about the cost of transportation from one end to the other end. It is very serious here because there are certain areas that you have to cross other regions before you go to your registration center. Some pay as much as 140, 150 Ghana cedis before they are able to get to their registration center. So that's coupled with the poor network and faulty EC machines and delays in getting even to the registration center is making the entire process frustrating.
All right, well, Christopher, thank you so much for speaking to us this morning and updating us on the situation on ground in the Northern and Savannah regions. And he's our correspondent, of course, here at Media General. And let me come to you. And like I mentioned, the CPP is also one of the 5 political parties that have filed this injunction. Unfortunately, we're told that the hearing has been set for the 17th of October. And that's like a week or 2 after the end of this limited registration process. So clearly, doesn't look like there's going to be a hearing for you to even know exactly what to be done. And EC has not pulled the brakes on the registration. How do you feel about that as a party?
Bella, thank you. This morning, let me send greetings to Anekwi Avle of the NDC. And let me send greetings to my friend Abdul Latif Dan, MP for Ablekuma Central, and all your viewers and my CPP comrades. And greetings to my brother Kwame. Kwame, haven't seen you in a while. Please get in touch. And greetings to everybody here. My sisters, you. You see, I'm very sad. Whatever your reporter in the northern region is talking about is the same reason why we as parties decided to let the courts, we don't have the capacity, let the courts put a brake on this limited registration. Ghanaians should not be disenfranchised. I am surprised he didn't even talk about the disabled, how they are managing to get to the district offices. When Asha was speaking, she was talking about the fact that people have to commute and in 2019, centers, 1,500 centers were set up in the electoral areas and all that. For somebody to travel just to write their name in a register to pay 140 in and out is a lot of money. And even if you are going with your guarantor, then you are doing about 400 Ghana cedis. When you go there and the machine is broken down, you have to go and come back. People have to go through like areas, vast areas like the northern part of Ghana. If you look at the Savannah region, they are not populated, but they are vast.
They can't hear you well. So.
They are not populated, but they are vast. And they span across other, regions. So it is a lot of work. And Bella, you see, last week or this week, Monday, I was talking to somebody. I was talking to one prophet Ernesto Bain, good morning. And I asked him, where is your district? He is in the constituency of Honorable Adjustafo. So I asked, where is the EC district office here? Who he is, couldn't even tell me.
He doesn't know his district office.
EC district office.
Sorry.
EC district office. How many people even know the district office? And look at the picture that we are seeing here. The district office is so small. How many can they register at a time? Did you get me? How many people are they going to register at a time? So this is the reason why we also agreed to be part of the suite, so that for Ghanaians, that somebody should stand up for Ghanaians for now. Somebody should speak for us, for Ghanaians, and that is why we of the CPP are saying that we'll be part of it and make sure that Ghanaians. I'm sad because it's as if this government does not think about Ghana. When you talk about it, they tell you that the EC is independent. They tell you that the EC is independent. But if an independent institution is not doing something, I am even surprised at the 275 parliamentarians.
You were expecting them to speak up?
To even call they are able. If government is not, and the EC is independent, the government cannot interfere. The legislature can, because the legislature is the one that created the law for the EC to come into place. You get it? When I was in the PRC as an independent institution didn't deal with government, but we dealt with Parliament. We dealt with the Select Committee on Energy. So they can also call them to. I am surprised that they haven't called the EC to Parliament to answer questions, because clearly, for whatever is happening on the ground, it shows that the EC is not ready. How then do you say that you are doing an online registration, but because of faulty machines, you can register people offline? And that is where all the problems will come in. The manipulation will come in. And when people a political party starts complaining, then it becomes like we are also always attacking the EC. For me, I always say that wherever there is a woman, it is beautiful. So you will not find me unnecessarily, talking about or condemning a woman in a certain position. And for that, I have stayed clear of condemning Jane Mensah. Because I want to repeat, wherever there is a woman in a certain position, it is beautiful. No matter what, I look at the strength of that woman instead of the flaws. But this one does not sit well. This one is not good enough. Because you are dealing with Ghanaians, you are dealing with political parties. We met. We said that if you do this in the district offices, you are going to disenfranchise Ghanaians and these young people who must be part of the electoral process. So let's sit down and discuss and see how we can do this. You are going to finish this thing, I think, somewhere 2nd of October.
Yes.
But the
hearing is on the 17th.
That is even on that one is in court. But the district level elections, that is pushing you to do this, is in December.
Yeah.
So couldn't you let's sit down and discuss this and push this limited registration a little bit further? Do you understand? So that all these issues surrounding it will be dealt with. Because clearly they are not ready. Machines are not working. People are not able to get to the district centers. I saw you did a news program, a news story on I think 2 days ago. And it was so sad, parents complaining the communities beyond the Volta River.
Yeah.
They were complaining that they cannot move, even because of the rains. They cannot move. And nobody cares about it. You see, Bella, they are now using the old CI, which gives room for you to bring a guarantor. The issue is that you are talking about when you do it in the communities, in the electoral areas, there's abuse. So in the district office, you will be able to control. Please, the people sitting there, do they look like people who are ready to control? What do they know? If I come with somebody and I say, this is Amma, they don't even know me. Do you get me? But in the communities, if somebody is bringing up Amma who is 16 years and you have good monitoring system, you know that Amma is not 18. It will be abused in the district office more than within the electoral areas and communities, because they know themselves. So as you go for, somebody can even charge about you are not 18. Why are you registering?
Yeah.
But the district office, who knows the person sitting in front of them?
Okay.
They do not know. Bella, another thing, they are also going to create Goro boys.
How so?
Yes, because if I bring a guarantor and I'm, especially with what is happening, I'm unable to register. When I'm coming back again, I'm not bringing that guarantor because I cannot pay.
Yeah.
Then very soon, people are going to make businesses out of this. They are going to mail around the district offices. These district officers who are registering the people are inside. They don't know what is going out there. So then they will come as guarantors and get paid. Then eventually, nobody will bring a guarantor anymore. And if you are using a guarantor, it means you don't have a Ghana card. You don't have a passport.
Yeah.
And it is possible most people do not have it. But you see, it should not be like, look at what is happening in Tamale. It should not be like it's because of somebody, it is not my stronghold, that is why it is happening. No, it should not be.
Okay.
The EC, I believe that the EC should put a stop. They should put a stop on the registration.
They've already started. You want them to halt it?
Yeah, they can't. Why can't they? Nothing cannot be halted.
Somebody has filed this, has sued
them, yes.
yeah.
the
Do you
EC,
get me?
yeah.
Look, let's not play God here.
So they should stop it.
They should halt because
And listen to your concerns.
and listen to because we are not the only people speaking. Most Ghanaians are speaking. Now it is practical. The challenges we were talking about has come to the fore.
Okay.
Do you get? So it means that as if the government doesn't care about Ghanaians. Whether we don't care. We don't care what you go and register, whether you can register or not. It's none of our business.
Is it really government, or because again we're establishing the fact that the EC is an independent institution? Let me bring Madam Frances in.
Coming. Who gives EC money to?
Let me bring Madam Frances in so she can speak, because she is here on behalf of government.
Don't come and worry Madam Frances. She's not part of EC.
She's not part of who?
EC business.
Well, yes, but she's here representing the MP. Now the consent, please allow her to speak.
Why am I not part of EC?
Are you part of EC business?
Why are we not part?
But you said it's independent. It's government.
Who said?
They are not. You are not.
Okay,
They are not.
Madam Frances, if you listen to what the journalist, our correspondent, is saying, clearly these concerns are very, legitimate. Exactly. And so if you look at that and you look at all the concerns that were raised, even in the injunction that was filed by these 5 political parties, it's clearly stated there that to an extent it was going to disenfranchise a lot of voters. How is it then that the EC still went ahead with it, knowing very well that some of their machines may not even work? The offices are limited, and so people will definitely complain about transport fare, having to cross the river to go and register, all those concerns. So that means that we're limiting the number of people who can actually register, and that goes against the law.
Well, I think they're straightforward. At times we whine and whine and whine. Instead of pushing for reforms in time to avert some of these lapses, the EC strictly is a constitutional buffer institution. So you really don't interfere with what they do. But Parliament is there to see to the resourcing. Parliament is there to ensure that the various CIs, airlines, and so on are laid within the remit of the law to make state institutions work in the interest of people and country. Having said that,
this current situation is not new. We knew the EC went along with electoral areas and it was extremely successful. All we are saying, people have spoken, complaints are genuine. But you see, in an exercise of this nature, when the complaints come up, then it's time to what? Look at them. But it is not, you see, EC is a state institution, but it's a buffer institution. The matter has gone to court. I even didn't think it would go that far. Because for me, IPAC is a good forum as an advisory body to somehow, instead of being antagonistic,
Until they didn't
Giorgio, no. Giorgio, it's not a question of whether they listen or they didn't.
didn't.
No, it's not a question of whether they listen or not. You see, it's the Giorgio.
Okay.
But when the atmosphere is too confrontational,
It is.
what are the problems? No, please. What are the problems of the EC? Is it a matter of resource? We're talking of old machines here. As for the distances, if you go to Ashanti region, which is the MPP stronghold, the same issues are being felt there. Talk to your correspondents there.
Yeah.
So this fallacious issue of somebody's stronghold, no, where is a stronghold in Ghana today? Well, if you combine all the northern regions, when I talk of the northern regions, from Savannah, North, when you combine all of them, MPP has 16 and NDC has 15. So we can even say right now the north is our stronghold because we surpass them with 1 seat. So all we're saying is that Ajubrel, the matter is in court, but the EC has to continue so that you see it's like if you're going to do the mop-up, definitely the extensions will come in because it's being done for the people.
Okay.
It's not being done in the air.
But money is being spent.
No, the point is that...
Shouldn't we rather halt it and save that money and do it
you
properly?
See, my point is that people have genuine difficulty. So those coming from afar can't be given the assurance. That's what I'm saying. Parliament must come in, call the EC, to, you know, it's not only at the plenary, but at the committee level. What are the difficulties? Parliament will not sit down for people to complain and complain and complain. One of your duty is to call them to the committee level and ask them what are the issues, because you are representatives of the people. What are the issues? No political party is satisfied with its members. Look at the regions.
Yeah.
MPs, aspirants, incumbents, pulling people in and out. And you know we're all against this busing thing because it creates problems.
Monetization.
Busing creates problems. And you may even have political violence coming out of this situation. So I'm saying that Parliament can do what? Call the EC and listen to them, and they can really compel them. I'm not saying force, but really there can be some compelling circumstance where at that level they may have to resort to the electoral area thing where everybody feels comfortable with, because most constituents go to funerals, meetings, weddings within their areas of residence. So if it's closer within the electoral area, it's better.
Okay.
We are not saying decentralized to the point of going to everybody's hamlet.
Of course, that's not what they're asking for. But they're saying that take it
so
back
that
to the
it's closer.
1,500.
It's been done before, so it can be done again. And I will also say that the insults, you see, you can do the critique without necessarily insulting.
Who is insulting them?
No, I'm saying I'm talking about insults. Because if I'm talking about insults, because we've heard some people really insulting. And if I may quote former President Mahama, the use of accusations, including unprintable insults, held at the person of the EC chair has become normal. So I believe this applies to all EC chairs. This is unacceptable, but as students of politics, we can see the strategy behind it. Vilify the credibility of the referee in the eyes of the public when you can tell you are losing the match. This creates a platform where when you lose, you can discredit and contest the outcome of the match. This is the underlying force for the whining. That's why I use the word whining.
Okay.
For the whining that has taken place against the EC chair. reference His Excellency John Mahama at the NDC National Campaign launch at the Cape Coast Stadium. And I think this advice transcends all time. Whether it was President John Mahama who said it, whether it was President Ejekum Kufuor, whether it was the late President Mills, former President Rawlings, whoever said it, is germane today as it was yesterday. So the the personalization or hitting below the belt should be put. Then let's look at EC as an institution, which is carrying out an obligatory exercise on behalf of the state. And once it's a state institution, I look for solutions. Parliament, the agency with which they've called the Kokonsa, the probe.
You call that the Kokonsa probe?
Of course, I will come to it. The agency with which they've called the Kokonsa probe, with whipping willows and all those things, making a pantomime of the internal security agency, the most important. Making a pantomime. Heads are being knocked, everybody distracted. So I'm saying that let them call the EC immediately.
Okay.
The matter is at court, and rightly so. It is the democratic right of any political party to go to court.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get the binding precedent. For me, that's why it's very important that the courts also deal with this. But let the exercise go so that as many people as possible who, it's unfortunate, looking at the distances and so on, but I think the political parties too, some of us are also doing our best to ensure that we take people there. But to halt the exercise completely, you can look at areas. You see, when you come to the suburban and urban areas, and you leave the periphery, you can even do some zonal things so that, for instance, in Greater Accra, it's a bit easier. It's a bit easier moving from one place to the other.
Yeah.
Maybe in Greater Kumasi, I'm not talking of Ashanti as well, but in Greater Kumasi, you may be able to move to the district easier. So it can go on in areas where it is possible to continue. But to halt the total exercise, where the difficulties of people moving from, let's say, if in Tamale, for example, you have to come from the peripheral outskirts to Tamale. Those areas can genuinely be halted.
Okay.
But to save time, those within the suburban and urban areas can continue.
But is the EC not operating on double standards? And
No,
I'll take you back to May.
I'm giving a recommendation.
Okay.
I'm not saying they're doing so, but I'm saying to hold the total exercise, where machines are working, where it is easier for people to go to the district center, until probably the electoral areas come on, which I believe eventually it will come on. Because the government cannot get, when we talk of government, let me say the executive or the presidency, because when we say government, all of us are government. And it's not in every government institution who can get up and go and talk to the EC. So we're saying that the presidency, for instance, being the embodiment of the executive, cannot call the EC boss or cannot, but through Parliament.
They should invite the EC boss.
They should invite the EC.
Okay.
I'm not talking of the boss. I said they should invite the Electoral Commission.
Okay.
And implore upon them that immediately, please go back to the electoral area system or the basic system which can assist people to come and register without, too much difficulty.
Okay. But
Number two,
hold on. Let me just ask this, because again, could the EC have held off this exercise in the first place when these injunctions were placed on them? Because you go back to May, when the NDC presidential and parliamentary primaries were going to be held, and Dr. Dufour filed an injunction, the EC decided to hold on to the supervision of the exercise, and they were very categorical because they said they didn't want to be cited for contempt.
Agreed.
How different is this? Because an injunction was filed again. They could have been cited for contempt, or they could be cited for contempt, but they still went ahead. They still went ahead to carry on with the exercise.
No, an injunction has been
filed
against the EC. Has it been granted? Has a ruling been given? If it's been given, they should go and cite them for contempt of court.
Okay.
That, you see, when you live within the rule of law, you use the law to correct situations, and then we're going to have the binding precedents. That is what I'm so much interested in, so that tomorrow anybody because commissioners will come and go when their time is due. They will look at what had transpired.
Okay.
And this will not be a parliamentary amendment where the issue so probably didn't suit us. A parliament cannot even amend anything. So you let the processes go on. But all I'm saying is that within the suburban and urban areas, to also save time, halting the process completely, I don't know what it will do in Greater Accra.
Okay.
Greater Kumako, the numbers, Bella, in some of these populous regions in the south, it is unbelievable.
Yes, it is.
You may have 4 million here, and we have about 2 years backlog. But my point is that with these machines, EC has had to go to Nigeria, pick machines at a certain time. So if it's resourcing them properly, fine. But I believe that, IPAC, it's a very useful instrument. So I think IPAC must be streamlined so that both the advisory, political party grouping, and the EC don't see themselves as antagonists.
But that's what Anaya was saying, that she doesn't see that even happening.
I want to come
I'm
in.
saying, I'm not making my recommendation.
Because she's usually at the
asking
IPAC
for
meetings.
anybody's opinion.
Okay.
Please. I'm making my recommendation that it takes two to tango. Whatever it is, the commission has done something, and it is not popular with everybody. Please, are you getting my point? For me sitting here, how will I want my auntie in a village somewhere, like Bososo, to move all the way in the eastern region to maybe Begro or somewhere? Do you get my point?
Okay.
So all I'm saying is that let us look at how the court case will go because of binding precedence, so that we set the system in a certain, framework.
Noted.
But finally, all I'm saying is that IPAC and the EC, you see, if you have that antagonistic stance, then it's as if take my own. I won't take it because I'm a buffer institution. You can't tell me what to do.
Are you referring to NDC? Because they are the ones who have said that they will not attend IPAC meetings. But
my sister,
but ma'am, please end for me so that
I'm saying that
they can come
I'm not interested in NDC any statement. It's a political party. It can choose to say what it wants and what to do. That is not my business. My business is that the EC must be positioned.
Okay.
It must position itself in such a manner so that the needed confidence
will be restored.
that has to be restored is restored among the rank and file.
All right, thank
especially
you.
the grassroots.
Thank you. Actually, I'll let you come in shortly, but let Nanaya respond to this IPAC statement.
Bella, there's no antagonism here. Do you get me?
Okay.
Because especially people should pay attention when you realize that we, the other political parties, are also part of it, part of the street, part of the resistance. This one is not just the NDC and they have their own issues. We've been saying that they should come to IPAC, and we are even saying that you are not there, so why do you even talk about it? So the point is that there is no antagonism. We put systems in place. First time we had a meeting, we spoke about it. The second time we did a press conference to bring some presence to the matter. Then the third time, we actually wrote a letter. I even told the team that what we did as a press conference is hearsay. So let's do a letter to EC that we want to meet them and have a meeting to discuss all these issues. We sent the letter. I called the EC. I actually called Dr. Stable that we have sent a letter to you that we want a meeting. Nobody even came back to us.
You called Dr. Strabo?
Yes, I did.
And what did he say when you called?
Oh, he said he will check.
Okay.
And he will get back to me. And I told the team that, Dr. Strabo is working on it. So all of us, we should have patience.
When was this?
Oh, somewhere last week, 2 weeks ago. I said, we should have patience. All of us should have patience. They are working on it for us to meet. And nobody even called us. All we heard was that they have started. So nobody is antagonistic. We put in place all the measures. And none of us are happy. Even the MPP as IPAC, they were not happy. None of us are happy about what is going on. So if none of us are happy about what is going on, you can't just hold. You see, the point is that this issue, it is not only about distances. It is about logistical support from the EC. It is clear that there is a problem with logistical support, especially with their machines. Number two, cost of movement is key. It does not matter whether it is in the urban or it's in the peripheral. cost, even in the urban, the cost of movement is more expensive. So if in the peripheral they are doing 140 cedis as in the north to move, how much will it be in the urban? So if the center is close to me, I am more I want to go and register than if it is far away. There's no incentive for me to move all the way to go and register with all the risk and the money. So if I say that it should be halted, it is because all these things must be looked at. How many days are they using to do this registration? About 2 weeks.
About 2 weeks, yeah.
So if it is halted, if it starts in the middle of October, by end of October they are done. And everybody is okay, because if you are going to use 2 weeks to register 1.5 million people, and by your own statistics and data, you know that you can do it in 2 weeks. We are not even in October. So if you halt it for maybe a week, and let's look at all the issues surrounding this matter for the sake of Ghanaians. Okay. Because you see, when Dr. Bosman was speaking on radio, he said that by per their own research, they are sure they will reach 80%. What about it? Granted that this statistics is true, that you can reach only 80% of the people who are supposed to register in the limited registration exercise, then the 20%, what happens to them?
Aisha, so at this point, and I want to verify, because has the injunction been granted?
Yes,
it has been granted.
And as we speak, the EC is even frustrating the process, the contempt process.
How is the EC frustrating the process?
Yes, because the security men at the EC office are preventing the bailiff from reaching out to the
maybe EC.
Yes, this is a private. No, a private. It's not what the political parties.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a private citizen who has filed a suit against the EC. It has been granted, and now the EC has been cited for contempt. They want to serve the EC, and they are frustrating the whole process. Today, I'm sure one of your sister stations would move there and see how the serving is going to go. It's going to become a topical issue, I think. And so, you see, this whole thing, you see, before we come out and accuse the EC of anything, it depends on how the EC has conducted itself.
Okay.
And we are trying to rope in government, and we are justified to do so, because we sat here in this country and saw how President Nanado, we saw how Nanado recruited known MPP apparatchiks into the Electoral Commission. MPP propagandists who go on TV and radio and speak for the party were given appointments as IT specialists at the Electoral Commission. Bosman Asari, who we knew to be a TESCOM patron, was given an appointment as a deputy electoral commissioner. So today, if we sit here and we say the Electoral Commission is doing everything possible in favor of the sitting government, we have a reason for saying that. There is a reason for saying that. And I can also go ahead and say that the Electoral Commission as an institution is in bed with the judiciary. Why am I saying it's in bed with the judiciary? The judiciary, like you stated, when at the NDC was having its internal election, Kwabena Dufo injuncted the elections. Quickly, the EC came out and said, because it has been injuncted, I'm not going to go on with the elections. This same EC is facing an injunction. And what has it done? It has called the bluff of the court. It has gone ahead to carry out the registration process. And as for the political parties, they decided to file a suit. Now they were told that the CJ is not even around to give them a date. And none of her deputies can even act in her stead.
They can't do that.
Very unusual, because we know that if the CJ is not around, if he has traveled, he didn't travel with the whole institution. He traveled leaving behind deputies, she delegated some powers. That's why she has deputies.
Okay. Please land
so
for me.
Why can't they act in her stead? Now the CJ comes, and we are being told that the hearing will be on the 17th, by which time the registration process is far over.
Okay.
Bella, what are we doing? and you expect us to sit back and think all is well.
All right.
This is a well-orchestrated plan to disenfranchise and frustrate Ghanaians. And you know what? At the end of the day, if all the electoral processes see low turnout, we are going to conclude that, oh, then we've exhausted the number of people we want to register. And that people are not even coming to the district offices. It's not that people are coming to the district offices
when the time is right.
No, that's what
I'm saying. Let's leave them to make that statement. Let's not presume that that's what
no,
they
we
will
have
say.
to presume because that's what is likely to happen.
Okay.
And it wouldn't be about that. It's going to be because the people haven't gotten money to move to the registration
All right.
centers.
Thank you.
It's not going to be because they've exhausted the registration.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you. Hi, Bella. This is Nanekia. Please, yesterday I went with my 2 girls to the EC district office to register. Our first challenge was trying to locate the district office. It took us 45 minutes to locate the office. We arrived there and the entire place was crowded so badly. Eventually, we were told to go back and return today. This morning, my girls have refused to go, claiming they can't go through the stress. Why is this EC not listening? Lots of people are being disenfranchised. This is total disrespect for the ordinary Ghanaian. Unfortunately, my time is up. We have to go.
Bella,
we have to go.
But,
My director is counting me down in 30 seconds. Unfortunately.
All I'm saying is that let us have respect for the judiciary. It is the Chief Justice who does the paneling. Constitutionally, it's not her deputy who empanels judges to listen to cases. And she had every reason to go on her official trip.
Okay.
So when cases go there,
She
the
must not be
registrar,
present.
please, I'm not talking to you. The registrar will do what? Give the date and times.
Okay.
After consultation with the judicial secretary. Number 2, find out whether the injunction has been properly served. From what I'm hearing about people going, I think Honorable Okujeto soon. At the end of the day, the court said it didn't qualify for contempt.
Okay.
And finally, let us know that when we are bastardizing institutions of states, we have a right to say what we want to say. We should be very careful. There are no orchestrations anywhere.
Okay.
We've been through revolutions. The Fourth Republic is here, and it is here to stay.
All right.